My name is Olivia, and I've always believed that if you work hard and live honestly, your life will be stable. At 28, I had a great career as a graphic designer, a perfect credit score, and I was just weeks away from putting a down payment on my first apartment. My life was a neat, orderly blueprint of my own design. I had no idea that someone was secretly building a chaotic, destructive world using my name. It started with a phone call. A cheerful woman from a credit card company was calling to discuss the suspicious activity on my account. "I don't have a card with you," I said, annoyed, assuming it was a sales call. "Ma'am," she replied, her tone shifting, "our records show you've had this card for 3 months, and it's currently maxed out at $10,000. I felt a jolt of panic, but quickly dismissed it as a clerical error. A week later, a speeding ticket arrived in the mail from a city 4 states away. The car on the ticket wasn't mine. Then came the final blow. My mortgage broker called, his voice full of apology. "Liv, I'm so sorry," he said. "The loan was denied. Your credit score has plummeted. It says here you've applied for 3 personal loans and a car loan in the last month alone." The floor dropped out from under me. This wasn't an error. This was a targeted attack. Someone had stolen my name, my social security number, my entire identity. They weren't just buying things. They were systematically destroying the life I had so carefully built. I filed a police report, but the officer was grim. "These cases are a nightmare, Miss Collins," he said sympathetically. "The person doing this could be anywhere. It's very difficult to track them down." I walked out of the police station feeling violated and utterly helpless. The blueprint for my life was in flames, and a ghost was dancing in the ashes. But as the initial shock wore off, it was replaced by a cold, hard resolve. The police might not be able to find this person, but I would. I would find the ghost who was wearing my face and destroying my future. My hunt for the ghost began with a deep dive into the wreckage of my finances. I got a full copy of my credit report, and the scale of the fraud was breathtaking. Dozens of credit cards, payday loans, a luxury car leased in my name. The person doing this was living a wild, extravagant life, and I was the one paying the price. A key clue emerged from the addresses listed on the fraudulent accounts. They all pointed to a single P.O. box in a small, run-down town about an hour away, a place I had no reason to ever visit. The police said it was likely a dead end, but for me, it was a start. My next step was the internet. I started searching for social media profiles using variations of my name. I found one on Instagram, a private account with my face as the profile picture, a photo I'd posted a year ago. The username was Live, Wild and Free. It was a cruel mockery of my own quiet life. I sent a follow request, which was, of course, ignored. The real breakthrough came from one of the credit card statements. There was a $3,000 charge at a high-end designer boutique in a wealthy suburb. It seemed sloppy for a professional thief. On a hunch, I drove to the boutique, my heart pounding. I showed the manager my ID and explained the situation. "I know this is a long shot," I said, "but do you remember anyone who looked like me, making a large purchase about 2 weeks ago?" The manager, a kind woman named Isabel, looked at me, then at the transaction details. "Yes," she said slowly, "I do remember her." She was very confident, very loud. She then pulled up the electronic receipt. "Here's something strange. The card was in your name, Olivia Collins, but look at the signature on the pad." She turned the screen towards me. The signature was a messy scrawl, but it was clear enough. The person who had signed for the purchase hadn't written Olivia. She had written Megan. My blood turned to ice. Megan, my cousin, the girl I had grown up with, who had always lived in my shadow. The one who was always borrowing money, always complaining about her bad luck while looking at my life with a simmering, jealous resentment I had always chosen to ignore. "Is there any way," I asked, my voice barely a whisper, "that you have security footage from that day?" Isabel nodded, her eyes full of pity. She led me to a back office and played the video. And there she was, my cousin Megan, laughing and preening in front of the mirror, wearing a dress she couldn't afford, paying for it with a life that wasn't hers. My ghost had a face, and it was family. The sight of Megan on that screen, so happy and carefree while she was burning my life to the ground, filled me with a rage so pure it was almost clarifying. I had the proof. The next family gathering was a week away, my aunt's birthday party. It was the perfect stage. I walked into the party, and Megan came right up to me, hugging me tightly. "Liv, you look so stressed," she said, her voice dripping with fake concern. "You've got to learn to relax." I waited until everyone was gathered in the living room for the cake. Then I cleared my throat. "Before we sing happy birthday," I said, my voice ringing with a calm authority that made the room fall silent, "I'd like to talk about a little problem I've been having. It's called identity theft." I saw the colour drain from Megan's face. I didn't raise my voice. I simply, methodically, laid out the facts. The fraudulent cards, the denied mortgage, the stolen life. I then held up my phone. "And here," I said, "is a little video from a designer boutique. The woman in the video is buying a very expensive dress with a credit card in my name. But she signs the receipt with her own." I played the video, angling the screen so everyone, especially Megan's parents, could see. The silence was deafening. Megan just stood there, her face a mask of caught-in-the-act horror. "Why, Megan?" I asked, my voice finally breaking with the pain of it all. "Why would you do this to me?" Her composure finally snapped. It wasn't an apology. It was a tirade of raw, ugly jealousy that had been festering for 20 years. "You!" she screamed, tears of rage streaming down her face. "You always had everything. The good grades, the perfect job, everyone always talking about wonderful Olivia. I just wanted to see what it was like. I just wanted a piece of your perfect life. You owed me." The family was shattered. Her confession, so full of venom and self-pity, left no room for doubt. The police were called, and she was arrested right there, in the middle of her mother's birthday party. Rebuilding my life and my credit has been a long, exhausting nightmare. It will take years to fix the damage she caused. But every time I sign my own name, every bill I pay, every step I take towards reclaiming my future, I feel a sense of victory. She tried to steal my life, but in the end, she only managed to destroy her own. I, on the other hand, learned how strong I truly was when I was forced to fight for the one thing I had always taken for granted.